So I want to do a little intro to MLA citation and formatting guide. Um, any of you who aren't familiar with MLA, you're going to ask me, what's MLA? MLA is a style guide that regulates a couple of different things. So it regulates the way your paper looks, the way you cite it, the way you format things. The style guides look like this. You do not need to own those, but you do need to be cued into a couple of resources. The best one is Purdue OWL. Google it. It is the Purdue Online Writing Lab, MLA Formatting and Style Guide. And it is basically a giant resource for MLA format. So I'm going to go back and forth between the PowerPoint and this. So MLA regulates document format, in-text citation, and works cited. As said, these are the MLA rules, but if your instructor asks for something different, then you're going to want to make sure that you follow your instructor's guidelines. So let's take a look at, the first thing I want to talk about is paper format. Formatting guidelines are as such. You guys don't need to worry about white paper. You do need to worry about double spacing everything. You do need to worry about 12-point Times New Roman or similar font. Leaving only one space after punctuation. Setting all margins to 1 inch on each side, and then indenting the first line of paragraphs to 1/2 of an inch. You don't need to worry about this. Using italics for titles. So for major titles, like if we were talking about a movie title or a book title, when we're talking, or the whole scholarly journal articles. But when we're talking about the name of a small format journal, of the name of the article, like kid hits ground with head, those need to go in quotation marks. And I'll show you that in just a minute. So the first page, in terms of document style, the first page is always a little different. There's no title page for MLA. Again, we still double space everything. In the upper left-hand corner, you list your name, your instructor's name, the course, and the date. You center the paper title, and then you create a header in the upper right-hand corner with your last name and your page number. So it needs to look something like this. That is a sample first page. So the page number, every other page should just continue on. The page number should change. So on Smith 2, on your second page, it'll say Smith 2. I'm going to click through some of these because I want to get to the citing stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is doing citations for books. Excuse me. So books, right? That's one source that you need. A print source with one author looks like this. We have the author's last name, the book title, the place it was published, the publishing house, the year, and then how you read it. So did you read it in print? Similarly, you go to the MLA style guide, and you can do that. MLA works cited page, books. And it's going to give you all sorts of different kind of variations on books. Maybe your book doesn't have one author. Maybe your book has 2 authors, right? So it's going to help you out there. Maybe your book has no author. Maybe your book's translated, republished. Maybe it's an edition of a book. So they've got a lot of different stuff. You guys are using ebooks too, probably. So you're going to want to go to an electronic source because these are all for print sources. So we go to electronic sources. And keep this bookmarked. You're probably going to be finding yourselves in electronic format. It's taking a second to load. So one important note on all electronic sources is MLA no longer requires the use of URLs in MLA citations. I do not need you to use the URL, so please do not use it. So this is how you cite a website, right? And look exactly how it is. So that's one of your sources, is a website. A page on a website, an image, an article. Now here is how you will cite your scholarly journal articles. An article from an online database. Remember that. This says an article in an online scholarly journal article. You're going to be looking at things from databases. So check this out here. We have, this is the author's last name, first name. This is the title of the article. This is the journal title, the whole journal. This is the volume number. This is the year. These are the page numbers. ProQuest is the name of the database. If you use Academic Search Premier, it's the same thing. You would put that there. The web is how you read it, and 27th of May, 2009 is when this person accessed it. Okay? Going down, so the same thing, I tell students a page, an article in a web magazine. This is probably, if you, say for instance, you looked up a New York Times article on NewYorkTimesOnline.com, this is how you would cite it, okay? Last name, first name, article title, New York Times Online, New York Times, the date that it was published, web, and the date that you accessed it, okay? And like I said, you're going to have to play around here with some of this stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not finding how we cite ebooks. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to actually search the OWL and see if they have anything, if they have any helpful information for us. And it's working just a little slowly. I apologize. And I don't know why it's working so slowly. Hang on one second. Let's see. All right, well, let's go back to this. Let me see if I can find it on a different website. I'm going to Google it this way and see. Citing an ebook in MLA format. You know what? I'll post a resource that shows you that. But it should be really simple. I want to go back through. Do you realize that with the citation is that this is indented right here, right? So that this is, it's called a hanging indent. So if you have a word processing software, you're going to want to make sure that these do hanging indents. The other thing I want to talk about is in-text citation, okay? If you're quoting directly from the source, which I'm suggesting that you do very little in your annotations, you need to use in-text citation. This is how it looks. So it is in the parentheses and then the period. So it's the page number. It's normally the author's last name and page number, like this is printed here. But do you realize in that first sentence, we already used the author's name, so we don't need to use that. In the second sentence, the author's name isn't used. The third sentence is a paraphrase. It's where we can point directly to that page. So you still need to cite that, okay? A couple of things about in-text citations. I'm going to go through it. Formatting short quotations. If you're formatting quotations, they need to agree with the sentence they go in. So if you'll notice on all of these, the author makes the quotation, if they drop the quotation or exclude things from the quotation, they make it agree with the sentence. They don't change the meaning of the quotation, but they make it agree. This is how you would format long quotes. You realize there's no quotations, that it's kind of block text in the middle of the line, and there's a period and then the citation. However, I am strongly advising against using long quotations in your annotated bibliography. It doesn't help you at all, okay? I want this to be in your own words, not someone else's. And then finally, there are ways to add and omit words. To add words, you put them in brackets. So you realize they say the quotation is some individuals, and the author decided to add this to the original author's quotation to give more information to that author, to the reader. It's not the original author's words, so it's bracketed. If you take something out of the middle of a quotation, you need the ellipses. So a works cited page looks like this. Your annotations go in the middle of there on an annotated bibliography. And there's a sample annotated bibliography up there so that you're able to take a look at that. This is what a works cited page is. Again, you don't need that for your annotated bibliography, but this is a good reference as to what your citations should look like. Okay, so let me see real quick if I can get sources to pull up, and I'm not, but I'm connected to the internet. Okay, so anyway, I'll put that resource in about ebooks, and then I'll let you know, okay? Have fun with this project. Thanks.